They don't keep it in Jakarta, in case you didn't know. They make money in Indonesia and then they park it in Singapore. So there are private banking relationships, the advisors are most probably based in Singapore. So they are a lot more comfortable in Singapore. And the other thing really is that I think between Malaysia and Singapore and Indonesia, there's always going to be this big brother, small brother tension. Yeah? I know because my father was involved in the confrontation in the mid-60s. I believe, and I think you know as well, right? That Indonesia has a chip on its shoulder that Malaysia cannot be better than Indonesia. So for an Indonesian company to come and list in Malaysia would probably be not very encouraged. They can list in Singapore. It's less sensitive, but we have tried to encourage Indonesian companies to list here, and we are not getting the right kind of response. I suspect the authorities will also not look at it favorably either for Indonesian businesses that want to list here. But for Malaysian companies, we are more open. I mean, CIMB and ICAEW have indicated that they want to do a list in Jakarta. I think generally, we Malaysians are a lot more relaxed about these things. We're not so protective. Whereas I think we find that it's not been easy to try and get Indonesian companies. But you're right. I mean, the point you're making is right, and we are trying to see how can we attract more of these foreign companies to list here, because the largest, we have the largest grouping of plantation companies, palm oil companies in the world. We have the likes of Samdabi, IOI, KLK, by far the largest collection. So it would make sense for these companies to list here if you follow logic. But I think there's more at work than logic in this case. We're not making excuses, by the way. We still want to try and get them. Sorry, you raised your hand earlier.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm a management consultant. Just have two questions. One on goals. What were your goals when you first started?
Oh, I thought you said GOLD.
No.
Okay.
What were your initial goals when you first joined Bursa as the CEO?
Okay.
Your personal ones, and then those that were given to you as well, shareholders. And then maybe what are your goals now? And the second question was basically on what you thought about the 10th Malaysian Plan and the NEM.
Wow. How much time do I have? Goals, okay. Simple goals. I like to keep things simple, by the way. Life is complicated enough without overcomplicating things. Okay, this is a goal that I've not quite achieved. I wanted to improve the culture within Bursa. Yeah? And when we talk about culture, it's about trying to create a better atmosphere. I think in some respect it's better, but not to the extent that I like it to be. Because you go into organizations, the culture is really set by the top. So if you have a very autocratic boss who wants to make all decisions, then that creates a certain kind of culture. I like to think that I'm not one of those, and so I want to have a more open culture. But the issue then is, are the people ready, or are they happy with what type of culture do they want? I mean, there's some people who prefer to be told what to do all the time, but then they don't have to think. I mean, you'd be surprised, right? So they're sitting there waiting for the instruction to come down. So what happens when no instruction comes down? Yeah. So they say there's no direction.
Do less work.
Yeah. So you, in trying to change culture, then I suppose it needs to be, the change process is always the most difficult. The easiest thing to do when you join an organization is just leave things as they are. Yeah? Then you won't have any problems. But that's okay if everything is going well. But if things are not going well, then you need to improve it or change it. And change is always difficult. People don't like if you introduce new technology or tell them that what they've been doing for the last 10, 20 years is it's not necessary. You can do it a different way. So they're very uncomfortable with change, and this is another thing that you will have to deal with in your career. You will. I mean, most of you are young here, and you are going to join organizations where you will find people who have been working there for 10, 20, maybe 30 years, and you will come with some bright idea as to maybe you can do this differently, and you will get a funny look from this person and say, who do you think you are? What makes you think you can do this job better than me? But then those the skills required then is you just have to sell your idea, without offending the other person, and that's a skill that everybody needs to have. In fact, when I look back at school, the ones who are very successful in corporate life are the ones who didn't study. They used to be good at telling stories, and they were very sociable people. So maybe that's what you need to do. That's one of the skills you need in your working life. Really, I mean, seriously, I mean, those who don't have good social skills will find it difficult to work well in the office environment. And that's because you are interacting with people. I mean, if you're just going to be a blogger or whatever, sitting, then you don't need to talk to anyone, really. Then maybe those social skills are less important, right? But if you work in an office environment where you have to work with people, then it's absolutely essential, because a lot of times you have to convince people and get their buy-in and explain this and that, and there's no other way. I mean, okay, some people try and do it via email, but it's not as effective. Sometimes you can get emails going on for such a long one, because they don't want to talk to the other person. That's one of the trends that we see these days, which is not that healthy. Was there another question? 10th Malaysia plan. Sorry, that was just one goal, right? I mean, the other goal was to try and make the place more efficient. I mean, Bursa Malaysia is basically a service. We're in the service industry, so we have a lot of stakeholders. I mean, you won't believe how many stakeholders we have. Everyone in Malaysia has an opinion about stock market, right? Whether they're investors or not, they have an opinion. And and all of them are our stakeholders. I mean, we have brokers, we have investors, we have fund managers, we have regulators, we have politicians. As I said, everyone in Malaysia feels that they have a say about what goes on in Bursa. So, but in our dealings with our direct stakeholders, who are the brokers, all these people, we have to make sure that we are as efficient as possible. I mean, if you want to get things done, if you want to become open an account and all that, we have to make sure that the processes are as efficient as possible. 10th Malaysia plan, I think the Prime Minister is on the right track. He wants to do the right thing. The challenge for him is getting everyone to work together to do it. So his company is the whole country. His company is the whole country. So he needs to get, firstly, his cabinet members to work with each other. That should be fun. And then he's got to get all the civil servants to work together, all the different ministries. That should be fun as well. If he's successful, then I think the plan has got all the right ingredients in there. I'm a strong believer of One Malaysia. I think I don't understand why it's taken 50 years.